You're welcome to my presentation. My name is OMEJE Ilemona Sunday. I am a second-year PhD student at the Laboratoire of Curien in the University of Germany, Saint-Étienne. I am here to present part of my PhD project titled Numerical Investigation of Texture Surface Wettability. In this presentation, I'll walk you through from the motivation down to the summary and conclusion of the presentation. In order to prepare your mind, I would like to talk to you about the motivation of the project. Functional surface inspired by animal has been used for advancement of several technological applications. For example, the nanostructure in the skin of a butterfly was adopted in dye-free structural coloration, and also the skin of a gecko and then the foot of a gecko inspired promotion of osseointegration process in artificial implants, and also the skin of the whales was used as was adopted as an anti-icing on aircraft surface. So we can actually summarize by saying surface roughness is important ingredient in surface functionalization of a material. So there are several methods of surface functionalization method. For example, we have the ion beam deposition. However, one of the expertise at the Laboratoire of Curien is the femtosecond fabrication system. And one of the advantages of the femtosecond fabrication system from other method is that it can easily produce surface structure and can vary the size and shape of structure by reducing the thermal effect, and also it favors a better control and a better quality, and it can alternate between hydrophobic and hydrophilic properties. We'll get to understand what that means soon. And one of the projects we're working on at the Laboratoire of Curien is to understand the spread of cell and migration on femtosecond textured material. And as a part of the simulation group, we want to understand how this cell spreads on material. So it is important to understand the wettability of such material. So as an introduction to wettability, wettability can simply be the spreading of liquid on a solid surface, which is being defined by the contact angle between the liquid and then the solid. So a scientist called Thomas Young described an equation which can be used to actually describe the properties of liquid on a solid surface. And his equation describes an ideal surface. And the properties he defined are the hydrophilic, hydrophobic, superhydrophobic, and superhydrophilic properties. And these properties has been used for decades to describe the properties of wettability on a surface. But in reality, we all understand that surfaces possesses some roughness. So two researchers known as the Wenzi and the Casibasta came up to modify the equation of Young. And Wenzi actually proposed that roughness amplifies the wettability of the surface. And Casibasta further worked more on Wenzi model to say, okay, if a liquid is dropped on a structured surface, there is some air gap which will not allow the liquid to penetrate the surface. And these two wetting models, known as the Wenzi and the Casibasta, has been used over 5 decades to quantify the surface functionalization of textured surface. However, there are drawbacks in this model, which are the model has been oversimplified and it cannot account for wetting dynamics. So what we're doing in this project is to further carry this, advance this model by using a computational fluid dynamics approach. And what we did is to create a triangular triangular structure on titanium surface, and also an hierarchical relief on the same surface in order to understand the wetting dynamics. So this is part of our computation. So we use a Navier-Stokes equation to study the field flow on the material. And because of the difference of the surface tension between the liquid, the air and the material, we use a level set method to track the liquid on the surface. And this set of equation you see on the slide is being discretized in a software called the COMSOL Multiphysics. And you can see our simulation domain on the slides. So the first thing we did is to validate our model to see if it's accurate for accounting for the structure we created on the material. So the first thing we did is to in the simulation is we perform a simulation of water droplets on glass. And first of our results is to compare with an experiment that has been done. And you can see on the snapshots, our simulation correlates with what was obtained in the experiment. And also, we find out the spreading parameter, which is the diameter of the droplets on the glass, and then over the initial diameter of the liquid droplet. And as you can see on the plot, you go the result of our simulation is close to the experimental prediction, and this gave us the effrontery to further adopt our model on the triangular surface and hierarchical relief we created. So we moved on. So this is the triangular surface we created on titanium, and then we created an hierarchical relief on the same titanium in order to understand the wetting dynamics. And our first result is this. So we place our water on this structure, and the first blue curve you can see is water droplet on titanium, and the two other colors are the spreading parameter when we created a triangular relief and then an hierarchical relief. You can see the difference between this graph is that when we introduce a relief, the spreading parameter decreases, which is to show that yes, roughness actually hamper the surface wettability of a material. And then we further move on to take the snapshot of each the droplets at each time scale in order to further understand these dynamics. And what we understand from the three surfaces at the maximum spreading is for the plain titanium surface, the time scale was 4 milliseconds. While a relief was introduced, we have a time scale to be 3.8, and therefore hierarchical relief, the time was 4 milliseconds. We can actually see that yes, when roughness was introduced, the material hold the liquid. So we'll move on to play with some parameter which cannot be captured experimentally. And what we did is to increase the velocity of the droplet of the liquid on the surface, and also we vary the viscosity of the liquid. And as you can see on the graph, when we increase the velocity, what we notice is that there is an increase in the spreading parameter, and when we also increase the dynamic viscosity of the liquid, what we notice is that the spreading parameter decreases. And in summary, what we can take home from this presentation is that on a plain titanium surface, the droplets spread rapidly due to some forces, which can be initial or capillary forces. And when we introduce a relief, we notice that the spreading parameter we are weaker, which favors wettability. And also, when we play around with the parameters such as the velocity, we observe an increase in diameter of the spreading, and at high viscosity, what we notice is that the spreading parameter reduces the diameter of the spreading. And as a global conclusion, we can say that relief plays a crucial role in spreading behavior of liquid, and hierarchical reliefs are promising for the wettability enhancement. So, thank you for your attention.